You're watching a Highwire Media podcast. It is October, and that means Halloween is just a few weeks away. With that, we introduce you to our Frights and Flicks. This week, we're reviewing Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 version. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, what you thought of Dawn of the Dead. And with that, let's dive into today's review. Zack Snyder's 2004 Dawn of the Dead is a thrilling, nerve-wracking reimagining of George A. Romero's 1978 classic. While paying homage to its predecessor, the film establishes its own identity through a more contemporary lens, focusing on high-octane action, rapid pacing, and a fresh visual style. With a screenplay by James Gunn, the film strikes a delicate balance between relentless action and moments of reflective tension, making it a standout in the zombie horror subgenre. The movie opens with one of the most harrowing introductions in horror history, immersing viewers in a world that has already begun unraveling. Anna, played by Sarah Polley, a nurse in suburban Milwaukee, returns home from a grueling shift only to wake up the next morning to chaos. Her husband is attacked and transformed into a zombie in an instant, setting the stage for an apocalyptic landscape where no one is safe. Anna escapes her suburban nightmare and meets a group of survivors that include Kenneth, played by Ving Rhames, a stoic cop, Michael, played by Jake Weber, a rational leader figure, and Andre, played by Mekhi Phifer, a soon-to-be father with a pregnant wife. Together, they take refuge in a shopping mall, an obvious homage to the 1978 film. The mall quickly becomes a sanctuary for the group, though it's a double-edged sword, as it traps them in an increasingly dangerous and isolating environment. As the film progresses, the survivors must face both the relentless zombie hordes and the mounting tension within their group. With supplies dwindling and morale fraying, they are forced to make impossible decisions, leading to a desperate escape attempt. The film culminates in a violent and frantic conclusion, highlighting the futility of their struggle for survival. One of the defining characteristics of Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is its portrayal of zombies as fast, aggressive, and utterly terrifying. This marks a stark departure from the slow, shuffling zombies of Romero's era, which symbolize societal collapse and consumerism. Snyder's zombies are far more physical, lending an intense sense of urgency to the film. The change adds a new level of tension as their survivors are constantly under threat, unable to rest or plan for too long without encountering danger. This shift to fast zombies not only ramps up the action, but also speaks to the changing dynamics of horror in the early 2000s. Audiences had become more accustomed to high-energy, fast-paced horror experiences, and Snyder's direction reflects that. The use of frantic editing, handheld camera work, and relentless action sequences give Dawn of the Dead a more kinetic energy, emphasizing survival over introspection. However, the change in zombie behavior also invites a different interpretation of the apocalypse. Whereas Romero's zombies were a critique of mindless consumerism, mindlessly shuffling through a shopping mall, Snyder's zombies are more primal and visceral. They embody a fear of overwhelming, uncontrollable forces that can overtake us in a blink of an eye. In the post-9/11 world, this shift in tone resonates as a reflection of anxieties surrounding sudden, catastrophic threats that upend the world order. Romero's original Dawn of the Dead was notable for its sharp social commentary, using the mall as a metaphor for consumerism and modern isolation. Snyder's remake retains the mall as the central location, but it shifts the thematic focus somewhat. While consumerism is still present, most notably in the survivors' initial impulse to claim the mall as their own safe haven, the 2004 film's emphasis is on human survival instincts and the breakdown of societal structures. The survivors in Snyder's Dawn of the Dead are not just battling zombies, they are grappling with the collapse of civilization and their roles within it. The mall serves as a microcosm of their old world, but as their situation becomes more desperate, the illusion of safety begins to crumble. The film explores how people cling to remnants of the past, even as the world is changing irrevocably around them. Another thematic exploration is the idea of family, particularly in the character of Andre and his pregnant wife, Luda. Andre's desperation to protect his unborn child and wife, despite her infection, highlights the primal drive to preserve one family at any cost. This subplot adds an emotional depth to the film, making the horror more personal as Andre's decisions to take a tragic turn. The idea that even in the apocalypse, humans can be driven to dangerous extremes out of love or fear of loss is a powerful addition to the film's thematic core. Additionally, Snyder's film touches on themes of self-preservation versus selflessness. Kenneth's initial lone wolf attitude contrasts sharply with Michael's leadership style, and their character arcs speak to the tension between individual survival and group cohesion. As their survivors face increasingly impossible odds, the film asks whether it's better to look out for oneself or sacrifice for the greater good. This tension adds layers to the film's action-packed narrative, making the characters' fates more poignant and complex. The cast of Dawn of the Dead delivers strong performances across the board, with each actor bringing depth to what could easily have been one-dimensional roles in a lesser film. Sarah Polley's portrayal of Anna is particularly noteworthy, as she transitions from a suburban everywoman to a hardened survivor over the course of the film. Polley imbues Anna with both vulnerability and strength, making her a relatable protagonist who is far more than just a scream queen. Bing Rames as Kenneth brings a stoic gravitas to the film. His portrayal of a no-nonsense cop, grappling with the collapse of everything he knows, adds a layer of realism to the narrative. Kenneth's bond with Michael is also a highlight of the film, providing a subtle emotional core as the two men struggle to maintain order in the face of overwhelming chaos. Mekhi Phifer as Andre stands out in a role that balances hope and horror. His subplot involving his pregnant wife gives the film some of its most heart-wrenching moments, as Andre's choices reflect the often tragic nature of survival in an apocalyptic world. The dynamic between Andre, Luda, and their unborn child adds emotional stakes to the story that go beyond mere survival. The film's secondary characters, such as CJ, played by Michael Kelly, the initially antagonistic mall security guard, also undergo significant development. CJ's evolution from a self-serving bully to a team player is handled with nuance, providing a satisfying character arc that adds to the ensemble's complexity. Snyder's visual style is one of the defining features of Dawn of the Dead. The film is shot with a gritty, desaturated look that enhances the bleakness of the setting. The shopping mall, while initially a bright and familiar location, becomes increasingly claustrophobic and menacing as the film progresses. Snyder uses tight, enclosed spaces to amplify the tension, especially during key scenes where the survivors are forced to navigate dangerous corridors and blocked exits. The action sequences are shot with a frenetic energy that mirrors the fast-paced nature of the zombies themselves. Snyder employs quick cuts, handheld cameras, and shaky movements to immerse the viewer in the chaos. This technique works especially well during moments of high tension, such as when the survivors make their escape in modified shuttle buses. A combination of fast editing and practical effects give these scenes a visceral quality, making them some of the most memorable in the film. One of the standout sequences is the rooftop standoff, where the survivors communicate with another group via whiteboards while sniping zombies from a distance. This scene exemplifies Snyder's ability to create moments of dark humor and tension, juxtaposing the surreal horror of the apocalypse with the absurdity of everyday life. The use of practical effects and makeup in Dawn of the Dead is also worth noting. While there is some CGI, particularly in scenes involving large hordes of zombies, the majority of the effects are practical, lending a more grounded and tangible feel to the horror. The makeup design for the zombies is grotesque and detailed, making each undead creature feel like a distinct, horrifying entity rather than a faceless member of the horde. The soundtrack of Dawn of the Dead complements the film's tone perfectly. The score, composed by Tyler Bates, blends eerie atmospheric tracks with more intense driving themes during the action sequences. The music underscores the film's escalating tension and provides a sense of foreboding throughout. The film also makes effective use of diegetic sound, particularly in the mall setting. The contrast between the mundane background noise of a mall, elevator music, PA announcements, and the violent chaos of the zombie apocalypse creates an unsettling atmosphere. Snyder uses sound to emphasize the contrast between the survivors' attempts to maintain normalcy and the horrors that surround them. One of the most memorable musical moments in the film comes during the montage set to Johnny Cash's "The Man Comes Around." The song's apocalyptic lyrics and haunting melody perfectly capture the grim reality of the survivors' situation, adding an ironic edge to the sequence. While Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is a well-executed horror film, it is not without its flaws. Some critics argue that the film sacrifices the deeper social commentary of Romero's original in favor of the spectacle and action. The emphasis on fast-paced sequences and intense zombie encounters can overshadow the quieter moments of character development, leaving less room for the kind of philosophical reflection that made Romero's film a classic. Additionally, the film's ending, which takes a bleak and ambiguous turn during the closing credits, has been polarizing. While some viewers appreciate the nihilistic conclusion, others feel it undercuts the survivor's journey, leaving the audience with little sense of closure. Despite these criticisms, Snyder's Dawn of the Dead has earned a place as one of the best modern zombie films. It helped pave the way for the zombie resurgence in the mid-2000s, influencing films, television shows, and video games that followed. The film's kinetic energy, intense action, and memorable characters have made it a fan favorite, and it remains a staple of the zombie genre. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is a thrilling and visually striking reimagining of Romero's classic. By updating the zombies to be faster and more terrifying, Snyder creates a more immediate sense of danger, while still paying homage to the original themes of survival and societal collapse. The strong performances, particularly by Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, and Mekhi Phifer, ground the film in a relatable human experience, even as the world falls apart around them. While it may not have the same depth of the social commentary as Romero's version, the 2004 Dawn of the Dead succeeds as a high-energy, terrifying portrayal of an apocalyptic scenario. Influence on the zombie genre is undeniable, and it continues to stand out as one of the most memorable and well-crafted horror remakes of the 21st century. Whether you're a die-hard fan of the genre or a newcomer to zombie films, Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is a must-watch for its relentless pace, compelling characters, and sheer visceral thrills. So, during this Halloween month, if you're looking for a horror flick to watch, then go check out Dawn of the Dead. So with that, we're going to give you our rating, and it's going to be, I'm going to say 3 out of 5 stars. Let me know your ranking in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. As always, your support helps upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, be able to pay them, and one day take this show on the road. As always, you can find us on Good Pods, all your favorite podcast platforms, and on YouTube, of course. Give us a thumbs up if you like our videos, hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And with that, thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.